مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا.
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Allah has ordained for you the same religion, that to be monotheistic Islam, which He ordained or commanded for Nuh alayhi salam, and that which we have revealed to you, O Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, and that which we ordained to Ibrahim alayhi salam, wa Musa wa Isa alayhi salam, saying you should establish the religion, an aqimud-deen, that is to do what is ordered you to do practically. The Islam is a way of life, and that is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us to do. And make no division among them. Means we should not be divided among sects and groups. In the religion and the various sects of religion, intolerable for the mushrikeen is that Islamic monotheism to which you, O Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, call them. So it is kubra ala al-mushrikeen. Ma tad'uuhum ilay. It is a great hardship for the mushrikeen. It's a great thing for them that you, O Muhammad Rasulullah, invite them. Tad'uuhum ilay, towards the Islam. Allahu yajtabi ilayhi man yasha. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala chooses Himself for whom He wills, and guides unto Himself who turns to Him in repentance and obedience. As I was talking in last few Jama here and other places about the riba in the Islamic system of trading and transaction, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has no new religion. Just this ayah I read today, to make us understand, it is not that the Christian and Jews were supposed to be doing something else. Quran tells us that from Nuh alayhi salam till Isa alayhi salam, the religion has been same, the commands of Allah have been same. And this is where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have the most strongest, the harshest verse in the Quran, which if you could understand, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has declared war upon the person, whoever does not follow this command. In Surah An-Nisa, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about the people of book, the scriptures before us. وَأَخْذَهُمُ الرِّبَا وَقَدْ نَهُوا عَنْهُمْ وَأَكْلِهِمُ الْأَمْوَالِ النَّاسِ بِالْبَاطِلِ وَأَعْتَدْنَا لِلْكَافِرِينَ مِنْهُمْ عَذَابًا أَلِيمًا. So they, the people of the scriptures before Islam, or the Muslim of the Ummah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, they used to take riba. وَقَدْ نَهُوا عَنْهُ. They were forbidden from doing such transaction. وَأَكْلِهِمْ الْأَمْوَالِ النَّاسِ بِالْبَاطِلِ. They used to forcefully, unjustly eat up the people's wealth and money or material. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is replying, وَعَتَدْنَا لِلْكَافِرِينَ مِنْهُمْ. Allah has prepared for the deniers among them عَذَابًا أَلِيمًا, a painful punishment. So this is a warning that do not think that you can get away because you say La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. These were the people before us, and which, if I understood correctly, may Allah guide us all. A fasiq is a person who says I'm a believer and then he disobeys Allah and His Messenger. A kafir, a mushrik, a fasiq. Kafir is a denier, mushrik is a polytheist, and the fasiq is saying, I am a believer, yet he does not obey Allah's command. And this is where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about us, that you can be that. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Al-Imran, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu la takalu riba ad'afan muda'afa wattaqullaha la'allakum tuflihun. O you who believe, do not eat riba. Riba means extra income from this money to money, ad'afan muda'afa, compound interest, multiplication, a usury. That if I give you some money and command you to give me so much above that, and then when you cannot pay all of it at one time, then I take a portion of it and double it up, triple and quadruple, to the point where a person becomes slaves, their property is confiscated, their daughters and children are taken as a slave, and they are still practicing, if we would not believe it, in the Muslim countries we know about it. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَاتَّقُوا النَّارَ الَّتِي عُدَّتْ لِلْكَافِرِينَ. Have fear from the fire which Allah has kindled and prepared for the denier or the disbeliever. وَأَطِيعُوا اللَّهَ وَرَسُولَهُ لَعَلَّكُمْ تُرْحَمُونَ. So obey Allah and His Messenger so you may have mercy upon you. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, another in Surah Rum, which I recited last time, just to remind myself, وَمَا آتَيْتُم مِّن رِبًا لِيَرْبُوا فِي أَمْوَالِ النَّاسِ فَلَا يَرْبُوا عِندَ اللَّهِ. Whatever they give for the riba to increase the wealth of the people, it does not grow with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In presence it might appear to be growing, but really it does not. وَمَا أَعْطَيْتُم مِّن زَكَاةٍ تُرِيدُونَ وَجْهَ اللَّهِ فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْمُضْعِفُونَ. And whoever gave the zakat, which is a charity and alms to the needy and poor, تُرِيدُونَ وَجْهَ اللَّهِ, they do it to seek the consonance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْمُضْعِفُونَ. They are the one who are really the one beneficiary or benefiting people. So when we do zakat, we do charity, we do it with the niyyah, with the intention that we are seeking the consonance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As we discussed last time about the conventional banking and Islamic banking. So one very important aspect is Islamic banking, there's a concept of God, which does not have in the conventional banking. They don't have a God in their business. Second important thing is the riba. In any transaction, in financial transaction, a riba involves money as a commodity, and Sharia of Islam says money is not a commodity. Money is just a paper. Yesterday in the news, they were saying if Pakistani government is going to make 5,000 rupee as no value, as many countries have done. So you can have a house full of 5,000 papers, rupees bill, which have value nothing, you can even burn them. That's the only value. So Islam says you need to have a material. So Islamic transaction involve material. And this is one thing, what are the options? The Islamic business have options which are business transaction. One is called murabaha, cost plus financing. Musharaka, partnership, a shirka, partnership. Mudaraba, a profit sharing. People have equal profit sharing. Ijara, which includes leasing. Sukuk, which is Islamic bond, like the government sells bond, then Sharia have all these options available. Now the little trouble with the current Islamic financing is so much weakened that if you want to do something, first of all, Muslims don't themselves believe in it. Now, one thing people say, Islamic banking is no different than the conventional banking. Why? Because you get 10% interest from Islamic bank, and you get 10% profit from Islamic bank, and 10% interest from the conventional bank. The whole concept is to be understood that there is a trade and there is an interest. And the Sharia says interest in any form or shape is not allowed, which is adafa mudafa. So to understand that important concept, the Islamic scholars have come up with these names, these terms to match with the conventional banking. So sometimes the index has to be established that how much Islamic bank should give compared to the conventional bank. So when we go to the Islamic bank, if we get less what the conventional bank is giving, Muslims are not going to go to the Islamic bank. I'm talking about Muslim. I'm not talking about, because the Islamic bank is for the Muslims. Non-Muslims don't care for that. So, and as they say, riba al-nisiyah and riba al-fadl. Riba al-nasiyah is also known as the riba al-jahiliyyah, of the ignorance time. It refers to the premium paid to the lender on loan. It is technically same interest, and this is real and primary form of riba, that you give somebody money and you get more money out of that. So for exactly Quran says, الَّذِينَ يَأْكُلُونَ الرِّبَا لَا يَقُومُونَ إِلَّا كَمَا يَقُومُ الَّذِي يَتَخَبَّطُهُ الشَّيْطَانُ مِنَ الْمَسِّ ذلك بأنهم قالوا إنما البيع مثل ربا وحل الله البيع وحرم الربا فمن جاءه موعظة من ربه فانتهى فله ما سلف وأمره إلى الله ومن عاد فأولئك أصحاب النار هم فيها خالدون يمحق الله الربا ويربي الصدقات والله لا يحب كل كفار أثيم الذين يقيموا الصلاة وآتوا الزكاة لهم أجرهم عند ربهم ولا خوف عليهم ولا هم يحزنون يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وذروا ما بقي من الربا إن كنتم مؤمنين فإن لم تفعلوا فأذنوه بحرب من الله ورسله وإن تبتم فلكم رؤوس أموالكم لا تظلمون ولا تظلمون وإن كان ذو عسرة فنظرة إلى ميسرة وإن تصدقوا خير لكم إن كنتم تعلمون واتقوا يوما ترجعون فيه إلى الله ثم توفى كل نفس ما كسبت وهم لا يظلمون. Such a clear and distinct command from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that if you do not stop as a believer in doing interest trading, Allah has declared war on you. So there are hadiths which ulama has different interpretation. As Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam says, the taking person, the giving person, the writing person, the witnessing person, they all are in the fire about the riba or the interest of the usury. So some ulama says no matter what time and space. This is general command from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But some ulama says, in those days when they used to do the riba nasiya, which is the real riba of the time, they used to have agents who go out and find people who are needy and bring them to the person who would lend them the money, and they will make witness among themselves. So this was about those people. But the thing is, today if you go to the bank and bank offer you the deal, and then there's the two witness and whatnot, so it becomes same. No matter how you look into it, the reality is there is a writer of both, signatories of both. So what do we as a Muslim do? We should actually have enough Muslim money in anywhere they're living that they can do their own trade by pooling money and making themselves a bank and then share the profit. So the Sharia has a purpose. The Sharia of Islam says it is for Imam Ghazali in the 12th century. He described it very well. He described, then further is added into this, the maqasid of Sharia, the purpose of Sharia. The first purpose of Sharia of Islam, which was being with all the prophets, as I mentioned earlier in the Quran, tahfiz ad-din, the protection of the faith, preservance of the faith. Second purpose is the preservance of the nafs, the life. Every life has pressure in Islam. The third thing is the preservance of the lineage, the heritage, your children, your progeny, your property, well, intellect. Everybody has a right to be educated and to be given the best of the opportunities. The preservance of the wealth of individual. Nobody can take your money by fraud or cheating. And then number 6 is described as a ma'isha, which is Masjid or economy, which is the economic preservance of individual and the community and the country. And then the preservance of the akhirah, because we all believe in hereafter. And then the qabr. We have to make sure that azab qabr is what we believe in. So what Islamic system offers, it is based on the Quran and Sunnah. As I mentioned last time, there are primary sources, there are secondary sources. The primary source is Quran and Sunnah. The secondary source is the qiyas and ijma. Qiyas is a scholarly opinion, and then all the Muslim scholars agree about it, and then that becomes the law of the Sharia. And the demand of socio-economic justice, the justice of everybody to be served socially and economically. Nobody could be taken advantage of. Prohibition of all kind of interest trading so that nobody will be in the disadvantage. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَكَ إِلَّا رَحْمَةً لِلْعَالَمِينَ. How the Rasulullah is the rahmah. There's a Muslim, we were supposed to be taking care of the world plus ourselves. We have two parts of the faith. One versus Allah, one versus ghayr Allah. How we deal with Allah, we are very weak in our practices, and when we deal with each other, we are worse than that in that matter. Every Muslim thinks it's my right to be served, but I don't have a right to serve others. And this is something, riba is for self-graining in the material form for the wealth. And then prohibition of all form of exploitation of any individual in this matter, and condemnation of the accumulation of wealth in few hands. Islamic system wants everybody to be rich and wealthy, not just few compared to the others. And this is something very essential to understand. And the principle of Islamic financing, number 1, prohibition of riba. Number 2, entitlement to profit to associated with the corresponding risk. And then the prohibition of sales of goods before acquiring ownership. The 4th is prohibition of sales of food stuff before possession of the food. 5th is avoidance of gharar, the uncertainty of the transaction, and also prohibition of the debt for debt. In other words, if I want to come to you and do a business, I don't have money, neither you have money, but we both have make assumption that you will be putting money and I'll be putting money, and loan will be taken from other party, and you assume I'll be having cash, but I have to take money from other party. So in other words, we both have nothing in hand and we are doing a business. You're cooking a pot without food in it. Just put things on the stove, does not cook. So Sharia says you cannot lie to the person. If you make a business transaction, put seed money into it and then talk about the material. And then the Islamic contract of commercial transaction and basic Islamic modes of finance. There's musharaka I mentioned, profit and loss sharing. Mudaraba is a profit sharing. Ijara is for the leasing, a rental. Salam, advance payment of sale. Istasna, contract of manufacturing. And murabaha, cost plus margin of the sale. And these things, the musharaka, there are characteristic of this, is all parties share in capital. In other words, when you put money, all parties are going to be part of the investment. They have their own money, not that I'm going to borrow from somebody and invest on it. That is not Islamic. All parties share profit as well as losses. If you get a profit, we will gain profit according to the amount I contributed, and I will share the loss according to the amount I contributed. Not that my loss will be more than the gain, or gain will be more than the loss. This is a particular contract. Then profit are distributed as agreed into the ratio. Whoever put whatever percentage, if I put 10%, I'll get 10% profit. If you put 50%, you will get 50% of the profit. Loss is borne by the parties as per capital ratio. So whoever put whatever amount, the loss will be that party's share. Every partner is agent to other. In other words, we all have to be partners in that equal to other party. And there are two types of musharaka. One musharaka is in that if a partner A put $60 or 60% and other partner put 40%, and profit of the 100% will be divided into 40 and 60 in the venture. But they put both equal amount, like a person bring $1,000, the party become $1,000, and they agreed, I will take 60% and you will take 40%. It will be that way because we agreed about it. And if the loss will happen, both will take loss. This is called musharaka one model. In other words, loss will be equally shared, but the profit agreed. If it's not agreed, you don't make a deal. The other kind of musharaka is that if one partner brings 3,000, other partner brings 2,000, and agreed that both of us will share equal profit. But in the loss, the bigger partner will take a loss of 60% and the smaller partner will be taking a loss of 40%. If it is agreed, that is acceptable in the Sharia because it's all open and declared. So sometimes we are equal partner in loss, sometimes we are unequal partner in loss, sometimes we are equal partner in profit, sometimes we are unequal partner in profit. That is allowed, but as long as both parties understood that. Then there is a mudaraba. Mudaraba is one partner is a rabbul mal. There are two partners. One is mudarib. What is rabbul mal? Is the one, if I say I'm going to invest my $100,000, whatever number of X number of dollar, and you are the one who is saying, I'm going to invest it, and I'm going to run the project, and I will take so much percentage of it. So we agreed that I am the investor, you are the person who is mudarib, the one who is going to manage the investment. And I will say nothing, I'm a silent partner. In that person, in which and it is always have to be a fixed period. It cannot be indefinite. Like you say, I'm going to invest money for 3 years or 5 years or whatever number of time. And then both share profit as per agreed ratio. Loss is a total loss of the investor. That is rabbul mal. Because the other party was the investor or the worker and you are the investor. So you take risk on your money. If you have an extra money in your home, that's what you do. So mudarib loses his service. In other words, if you have lost, he's not going to get any profit out of it. So this is to be agreed, and this is called mudaraba. In mudaraba model, if a capital investor and another mudarib is the service provider, and they get the profit and they agreed, we will share 50-50. Even though the working partner has zero investment, but he agreed to take 50% and you sign to it, then you are supposed to honor the contract. And then if the loss happens, loss totally belongs to you because you are the one who agreed to this term. And then there is a ijara. Ijara is a rental service in the Islamic way of the bank or the financing that benefits of an asset is passed to other party against a periodic rental payment. An asset must have a corpus, a body, and be in existence. And there should be a material. You cannot rent something which is not an existing in material. Like a car, like a house, like a property or other business thing. The asset must not be consumable in nature, should not vanish, because you cannot rent vegetable, food, meat. You cannot rent it because it's going to get bad. But you can rent a car, you can rent a house. So that is something to be understood. Ownership will remain with the leaser, the owner of the asset, and will bear all the risk related to the ownership. So bank does it what? If I want to buy a car from the bank will go to the car company and will buy the car for me and will tell me that I'm renting it to you because now bank owns a car. At the end of the deal will be, it will be given a hiba or whatever understanding, you return the car or if you want to keep it. So you will pay the rent over time, and after that value is done, the bank will say, look, this much is value upon the car. Do you want to buy it or you want to end the deal? We'll say, yes, I want to keep it. So you get extra money, or if your deal was that the rent will include the value of the property or the car, then what will happen at the end of the term, there will be zero left for the value. So the bank will write, I agree that this is gift now given to the person. And this is how it works in the rental form. There's another contract which Islamic system gives, is called salam, which is advance payment.
It is an exception to the general principle of instant exchange of counter value in the contract of sale, a full payment of purchase price, no deferment or installment in advance money allowed. No loan adjustment is allowed. Quality and quantity must be specified and date of delivery must be specified. So salam payment is the agreement where you paid in advance for the product to be coming. Like you buy a whole crop. You go to the farmer needs money, you give them money and you took the whole crop. The value of the crop might go up or down, you will take that chance. But the farmer will get the money. So they can buy the seed, they can do the plantation, and they can grow the product. There's another thing called murabaha. Murabaha is the sale of commodity at cost plus margin. It must fulfill the condition, all the condition of a valid sale. It may be spot sale or deferred credit sale. Deferred sale, murabaha, is used as financing mode of Islamic bank. Deferred price becomes a debt and shall be dealt with as loan transaction. The price once settled at the time of sale cannot be changed due to the default of the creditor at anything above sale price will be riba. So conditional murabaha is that since it's a sale contract, it must fulfill all the condition of value. Different kind of thing apply in each contract. You can have multiple of the concept in there. The bank should purchase the asset from the third party and not from the customer himself. I cannot sell to the bank and I will ask for the rental. I have to sell it and third party has to. Bank should purchase the asset from the third party. Bank must own the asset before it sells to the customer. Bank must have possession of physical or constructive, that is, must come to its risk. The seller must know and disclose the cost, including freight, insurance, and the taxes, etc. Profit may be fixed in lump sum through the agreed ratio to be the charge over the cost. All these terms are nothing unusual, but we do not know, so it sounds a little strange because we are not doing business. People who do business understand this terminology. So murabaha is, there are three things. Classical, on a spot, you can take money and give out. The deferred, for the lump sum agreed that we will have this much of the amount of this product in the future. Deferred installment and payment, if it is agreed with the party, that will pay you over time. And then another contract called istasna. So istasna is a sale transaction where commodity is transacted before it comes into existence. So definition, it is an role to producer, to manufacturer, to specific commodity for the purchaser. So the condition for the istasna is that the subject of istasna is always things which need manufacturing. So you want to manufacture product. So the manufacturer will be doing this deal. Manufacturer uses his own material. Quality and quantity should be agreed in absolute terms. Purchase shall be fixed with mutual consent. So we order somebody to build so many cars or machine or whatever object, computers, whatever it is. So the istasna contract applies. The price of istasna contract is maybe in the form of money and commodity or usufruct. Price of istasna may be spot and deferred, therefore the istasna is applicable where salam is not applicable. Price of istasna can be paid in installment. The installment may be tried up with a different stage of product. So difference between istasna and salam is, in istasna, the subject of istasna is always a thing which need manufacturing. In salams, the subject can be anything. In the istasna, the price in istasna does not necessarily need to be paid in full in advance, but in salam, the price has to be paid in full in advance. And this is one of the two differences. The other difference between istasna and ijara or rental is that in the istasna, the manufacturer either uses his own material. In ijara, the material is provided, like bank went out and bought something and sell to the third party, or rent it to the third party. So the material is provided by the customer and the manufacturer use only his labor and his skill. So the istasna form of financing is used for the house financing, project financing, export, pre-shipment, and this is what basically are the few of the products. There are more details to it. Again, an economist, person who understands the economy or who understands the finances, we should encourage our youth to understand the Islamic financing. As we mentioned earlier, world is looking for an ideal way of financial management of the human. And Islam has given us the rule, ذَلِكَ الْكِتَابُ لَا رَيْبَ فِيهِ هُدًى لِلْمُتَّقِينَ, in the book of guidance. In that, we need to make sure that what objects could be done in that which will be Islamic, and Muslims have come up with this. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us able to perform. If we do not need to go out, if we have enough people in the community, every single masjid community have plenty of people with plenty of money, we can put together and start financing and helping each other and have a rental. Short-term investment and long-term, whatever we want. But we should encourage our youth to go into the finance and learn it. Islamic finance is not difficult, it's very simple. Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam is mercy for mankind by giving a very simple solution to the world that everybody should be evenly rich. Nobody should be wealth should not be accumulated in individuals' hand. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide us and protect us.